Oh yeah, do you like my shirt? It's a Venom shirt. I got this a few months ago. I've probably worn it on stream. Hey, what's up guys? Impulse7 here, and today I am bringing you guys another video, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you highlights from my birthday stream. My birthday was on August 25th, and during this stream, I did 4 different things, and I turned those 4 different things into videos. My scrapped content, and the 3 theory reactions. But before all that, I ended up just talking to chat for about 2 hours, and we had some fun conversations about the MCU, some stories about things that I did with my friends, Resident Evil, and FNaF, and it was just really fun. So I just wanted to turn this into a fun little video for you guys to watch of my birthday stream highlights. A lot of people think I'm older than 17. People thought I was older than 16 when I was 16. Now I'm 17. I think I'm getting older and older to the point where less and less people are going to be thinking that I'm older, because now I'm reaching the ages that people thought that I was when I was 13. Right now I'm 17, and yeah, I'm gonna be for a little under a year. That's usually how it works. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the stream highlights. You know what I find really weird about the US? I don't live in the US. I live in Canada, where the drinking age is 19. In the US, it's 21. I was hanging out with my best friends. We went to a restaurant, and then we went to a store that was nearby. And while we were walking, we saw this group of kids that were, like, really crazy. When we heard them talking, we were like, oh crap, this is Gen Alpha, and I don't like it. We kind of had a conversation inside the dollar store about, like, how Gen Z probably isn't that great as parents. Some people will probably be good, but some people will suck ass. After all that, we were walking back to the car, and we were talking about just, like, society, you know what pretty much. So we were talking about how in the US, once you're 18, you get access to, like, guns and stuff, but you can't drink not until you're 21. Great logic, right? And even in Canada, obviously it's 19, not 21, so it's still, like it's much better than the US. The US makes even less sense, but it's still not when you're 18. You'd think that you'd be, once you're an adult, you can just do whatever a person that is fully legal can do. You'd think that 18 would just be that threshold, that you cross that. You're an adult now, so just let me do it, right? Speaking of my best friends, that's why I haven't been uploading recently. The last time I uploaded was my timeline video on the anniversary of FNaF, which was 17 days ago. And the last time I did any content was me playing Into the Pit on the anniversary of FNaF 17 days ago. But the reason that I haven't been uploading is because me and my best friends, for some reason, one of us, not me, one of us came up with this idea to do a story competition where all 3 of us would have to write a story that is at least 10,000 words, and eventually, once we're all finished, then we'll read them out and we'll, like, judge them, basically. It was originally due July 18th. It is now August 25th. I have not finished yet. One of my best friends has, the other best friend is not, and I have not. I've been working a lot on my story, definitely more than halfway through. I'll probably do like 2,000 or 3,000 more words. This is not a story that you guys will be seeing, it's just a story for me and my friends, but that's why I haven't been uploading, because I've been busy working on that instead of videos. I have a lightsaber. It's kind of broken here, as you can see. It, like, splits. It's not supposed to do that. But yeah, lightsaber. I was trying to spin it like that. It's kind of hard to show it on camera, but just spin it like that. That's what I was trying to do. Anyone like Star Wars in chat? I feel like it would be kind of a statistical anomaly if nobody in chat liked Star Wars, but if I pick up a stick on the ground, I instantly start doing this with it. It's just natural. If I see a stick on the ground, I have to pick it up and do that. You should see my front door. Like, next to my front door, there's like a bunch of sticks just there that I just found on a walk home and brought with me. My mom has literally told me to stop doing that, and I just told her no. Favorite game series? Is that a question? If so, Resident Evil. Actually, by far. The answer is not FNaF. Star Wars is good. Star Wars is probably my favorite movie series. The MCU might be my favorite. It's kind of hard to say, because Star Wars has a lot less content, but I think I like the highs of Star Wars, I think, are better than the highs of the MCU, but there's like a lot less content in Star Wars, so there's more good content than there in the MCU than there is in Star Wars, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to say which one I like better. Revenge of the Sith is my second favorite movie of all time. My favorite movie of all time is not Marvel or Star Wars, so MCU is going bad. I wouldn't say necessarily. I think it's heading in a good direction. It's just like taking a while to actually get there. Daredevil Born Again looks like it's going to be such peak. The original Daredevil show is like one of my favorite shows of all time. I'd probably say my second favorite show of all time. My favorite show of all time is The Walking Dead, hot take. That's kind of why I'm so into Resident Evil, because I love zombies. Although my favorite Resident Evil game is my favorite game of all time, and it's not a zombie game, so I mean, that's kind of a weird way to put it, but whatever. Deadpool and Wolverine, though, is such a good movie. I love it. Dude, I tear up just watching him put on the mask is just, that's enough for me. I tear up a little bit. Don't judge me. It's like, if I go through, like, the worst experience of my entire life, I might cry a tiny bit. But if I watch a movie or a show and something sad happens, I'm bawling. Not really bawling. I don't really, like, bawl my eyes out, ever, really. I've only ever really done that to media once. And it was the second last episode of Young Sheldon. Best Deadpool movie? Yeah. But yeah, that scene isn't even one that's, like, sad or anything. It's just, like, it's tears of joy, you know? Just seeing him put on the mask, and it looks so good. Do I read books? No. Also, did you hear that apparently Spider-Man is going to be a villain in Secret Wars? I did hear about that, and I'm assuming it's because of the symbiote, right? And in the comics, Secret Wars is where he gets the symbiote, so it would make sense for him to get it then. I feel like it's less going to be that he's an actual villain, and more that he's going to be, like, morally ambiguous, I guess. I wonder if it's going to be kind of like The Flash Season 3, how there's, like, Killer Frost, where she is a villain, obviously, and I don't think Spider-Man would just be a villain and then be recruited by Doctor Doom or anything. But I feel like maybe he will get the symbiote and he'll, like, be kind of morally ambiguous, I guess, and then he'll meet Doctor Doom and be like, holy crap, you're Tony Stark, and then he trusts him, basically. Like how in The Flash, Season 3, there's a storyline where Savitar, spoilers, by the way, but I mean, the show, this season came out in, like, 7 years ago. I think it would be cool if in Secret Wars they did something kind of similar to this, where Savitar is actually a future version of Barry Allen, the Flash. So he approaches Killer Frost, who is Caitlin Snow, who is a member of the Flash's team. And when he shows her who he is, she basically trusts him, right? So I feel like they could do something like that with Doctor Doom, where basically Spider-Man will have the symbiote, and he'll meet Doctor Doom and see that he's, like, Tony Stark, so he'd kind of, like, go to his side or something. I could see something like that happening. I think that if they did that with Doctor Doom and Spider-Man, it would kind of be a missed opportunity, because I think it would be so much better if they had it be Spider-Man has the symbiote and he's, like, beating up Doctor Doom. I remember in a certain story I heard about this, that Kingpin, like, broke Aunt May's hip or something, and then Spider-Man went and beat the shit out of Kingpin, right? So, like, obviously Aunt May's dead now, but, like, maybe Doctor Doom could hurt somebody that Spider-Man cares about, and then he, with the symbiote, like, beats the ever-loving shit out of Doctor Doom. And, like, when he's doing that, he, like, knocks his mask off. When he knocks his mask off, then he sees that it's Robert Downey Jr., and he's just like, oh my god, you're Tony Stark. And then he hesitates, right? Like, that's what makes him hesitate, kind of. And then that maybe leads to Doctor Doom kind of winning at the end of, say, Doomsday. Obviously, like, Spider-Man gets the symbiote in Secret Wars in the comics, but, like, it's kind of the same storyline, Doomsday and Secret Wars, so I could see him getting it in Doomsday. Actually, maybe they could have him be against Doom in Doomsday and then with him in Secret Wars or something. I could see that, actually. Like, he beats him up, he knocks off the mask, he sees that he's Tony Stark, and then he hesitates, and then that leads to Doctor Doom. Him hesitating leads to Doctor Doom winning in the end of Doomsday, and then that leads into Secret Wars, where maybe in Secret Wars, then now that he sees that it's Tony Stark, maybe now he trusts him and then joins his side, and then you could have a thing where Toby and Andrew Spider-Man, they meet up with Tom again, and Toby, he obviously knows what the symbiote does, so he's like, oh shit, we gotta get it off him. And so we can have, like, Toby and Andrew fighting Tom Holland while he has the symbiote, and that would be, like, a really cool thing to see. It's kind of like in Spider-Man 2, where Miles has to fight Peter when he has the symbiote. I think that could be cool. Dude, imagine how hard it would hit if Doctor Doom, a Tony Stark variant, ends up, like, killing, for instance, Happy Hogan. Imagine how hard that would hit. That would be really sad. Imagine that. I just randomly had that thought. What if Doctor Doom kills Happy? A variant of Tony Stark kills Tony Stark's, like, friend. What do you think the next Resident Evil game will be? I mean, I think the next one will be 9. I think it's probably going to come out next year. Okay, here's what I think that they should do with the remakes. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I think that for the remakes, they should remake Resident Evil 1. Even though they remade it already, the point of the remakes is to make the games more accessible for modern audiences. And yes, you can still play the Resident Evil 1 remake, but it's really hard to get into. Like, my first playthrough of Resident Evil 1 was like 18 hours. And that's just the Chris playthrough, not the Jill one, just the Chris one. It took me like 18 hours to do that. That was the first fixed camera angle Resident Evil game that I played, and it's very hard to get into the controls of it, and it's just really hard to get into nowadays. Eventually I did, and now I like the fixed camera angles. I don't prefer them, but I like them. But I still think that they should remake RE1, not only because they should make it more accessible for modern audiences, but also because I really just want to see the Spencer Mansion fully 3D in the RE engine. On top of that, they're definitely going to remake RE5 at some point, and Wesker was introduced in RE1, and RE1 is really important to understand his story. Same with Code Veronica. What they need to do is remake 1 and remake Code Veronica. That's what they need to do before they remake 5. There's also RE0. Yes, I was about to bring that up. They should remake 0 as well, because it's not that good. 0 is my third least favorite Resident Evil game. My least favorite is Code Veronica, my second least favorite is 6, and my third least favorite is RE0. It's not bad, it's just not great either. I think that they should remake 0 too, and it also gives a little bit more insight into Wesker, not a lot, but a little bit more. And it also can give a little bit more insight to William Birkin, so people who played the 2 remake but didn't play the original 0 can understand Birkin a little bit more, can understand Wesker a little bit more before 5 remake. And yeah, I think that would just be the best option. I think they should do RE1 remake, RE0 remake, Code Veronica remake, and then 5 remake. I think that's what they should do. I think eventually they should do a 6 remake, but not like a remake per se. I mean, kind of a remake, but like a reimagining, I think. Like, because I think that the way that they did 6 originally could have been good if they just made it way different. I think that there should have been a max of 6 campaigns. Sorry, not 6 campaigns. 6 playable characters and only 3 campaigns. So kind of like what they did in the actual game. They had Leon with Helena, Chris with Piers, Ada with the agent or whatever, and Jake with Sherry. I think what they should have done is had a campaign with Chris and Jill, Leon and Ada, and Claire and Sherry. I think that's what would have been the best option, and then they could have had Sherry fulfill Jake's role instead of having Jake as a character, because Jake as a character I just hate. He's not that badly written. He is badly written at times, but I think the main problem with him is just his concept. Like, he does not need to exist, right? And I just don't think that they did him that well, because Jake had the C antibodies to cure the C virus, so they could have just had Sherry use the G antibodies to be able to cure the C virus. Like, they could have found a way to do that. And I think that's the best way that they could have done it. And that way, because 6 is like a culmination of events, right? It's the culmination of the Raccoon City era of Resident Evil. It's bringing everything together, all the original characters. So where's Claire and Jill, right? You'd think that they would be there, but they're not. So I feel like if they remake 6, they should, like, completely reimagine it. Like, they can follow, like, a similar storyline, but they should change it a lot. They don't need Helena, they don't need Jake, they don't need the agent, and they don't need Piers. Piers was kind of cool in Chris's campaign. Like, he was pretty well written, but, like, still, I don't think that they needed him. And I think it could have been way better if they had Jill. All the Resident Evil games that I would like to see. 9, obviously. 10 at some point. 1 remake, 0 remake, Code Veronica remake, 5 remake, maybe a Revelations remake, I'm not sure about that though, a 6 remake at some point, and Revelations 3 I think they should do at some point. What FNaF games would you like to see? I don't know, I'd like to see more FNaF games, obviously. I think that like, there's not really anything off the top of my head that I could just say I would like them to do. Like, it's just like, whatever they do, I'll be like, okay, cool. Like, I would say the Carnival game, but that's happening anyway with Secret of the Mimic, so I would like Ruin too. Like a sequel to Ruin, I'm assuming you mean? Like after Cassie meets the Mimic, like what happens after that? I would like to see that too. Okay, here's what I want to see. This was what I originally hoped that they would do for Ruin, but I obviously doubted that it would actually happen. Say if they made a sequel to Ruin, it was a sequel to the elevator ending, right? The elevator was dropped. When I once mapped out kind of the location of that elevator, say FNaF 6 is Fredbear's Family Diner. That would mean that sister location is underneath the Pizzaplex. Meaning, if you line up, like, the location of that elevator relative to FNaF 6, if Fredbear's was FNaF 6, then that elevator is right around the breaker room for the sister location map. And in Ennard's vent repair, you're in an elevator, and at a certain point you make it to the breaker room. So obviously, like, it's a different area of the breaker room, but I think it would make sense if that elevator was the same one from Ennard's vent repair. And with that logic, you could make it so that through that elevator you can go down and then make it into sister location, right? So it would be really cool if they made like a free roam FNAF game, a sequel to Ruin, where Cassie has to escape from under the Pizzaplex by going through sister location. But say the Mimic is still on her tail, right? Maybe the Mimic like jumps, maybe the elevator starts going down further and she finds herself in sister location. Then the Mimic can like maybe jump on top of it or whatever, and he becomes kind of like a stalker enemy kind of. And then you end up in sister location in Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, and then you have to deal with, say, like, the Biddy Babs, the mini arenas, or whatever. Maybe you deal with, like, random agony-infested parts of, like, the fun times or whatever that are not possessed anymore, but just have random agony in them, right? So they could have something like that happen, where Cassie has to escape the Pizzaplex by going under sister location and finding a way out, because there's more elevators than just the one, right? So they could find a way into, like, the Plush Trap house or something like that, right? Or, say, the FNAF 4 gameplay house. It wouldn't be that hard to do something like that. Like, they could find a way to connect the sister location map, because the sister location map is connected to those areas, right? So they could find a way for her to escape from under the Pizzaplex by going through sister location and finding her way up and out. And they could have, like, a bunch of puzzles in order to actually get there, right? And I think that would be a really cool idea. I feel like that's such a cool way that they could do it. I didn't really expect them to do that for Ruin, but that's what I was hoping that they would do. And obviously they didn't. But I think that would just work so well. It could also work if they, like, decided to switch it up a little bit and maybe do a sequel to the Burn Trap ending instead of Ruin. Like, they could have Gregory and Freddy down there, and then they could have, like, Afton combined with the Blob, which I think would have happened if the Afton ending, if the Burn Trap ending was canon. I think that Afton or Burn Trap and the Blob probably would have combined, because Burn Trap has Glitch Trap in him, and FNAF AR animatronics are in the Blob, and FNAF AR animatronics are possessed by Glitch Trap. So Glitch Trap could have taken control of the Blob when the Blob attacked him, and then they could have combined, and then we could have had like a game adaptation of the Afton amalgamation. So then what we could do is have Gregory and Freddy try to escape from underground, but because the elevator doesn't work, it's just a one-way trip, they said, it doesn't make sense that they got onto the field, because it's a one-way trip. How do they get back up, right? So they could have, like, basically an explanation to that. Or if there was an ending where Cassie ends up trapped in the dataphobia loop, that would be actually really cool. That's a good idea. But so Gregory and Freddy end up trying to escape from where they are, and they end up in sister location instead. And then they have to make it up to the Pizzaplex, and then maybe they have to face off against the Afton amalgamation, or whatever. That was my original pitch for Ruin. I didn't expect that to happen. It was just an idea that I thought would be really cool. And I just think that, in general, either of those options would be such a good way to progress the series and kind of have an homage to the older games and have everything tie together, basically. I think that would just be really, really cool. Obviously, I'm not a game writer or anything, so the way that I'm saying it, they could, if they did something like this, obviously it wouldn't be exactly the same as I'm suggesting. Obviously, it would be written better by somebody else, but I'm just saying, like, the concept of Gregory and Freddy or Cassie being stuck under the Pizzaplex and having to go through sister location to get out. I think that would just work really well. When are you going to be back at Posting Man? When I finish the story that me and my friends are making. Or that I'm making as a competition against my friends. I have a little story that I wanted to tell you guys. It's not like a full story or anything, but it's really short, but I just wanted to say this. A few days ago, me and my best friends decided to hang out again because my birthday's upcoming, so they wanted to just hang out, or I wanted to, but we agreed that we probably would. Happy birthday! Hurry up with the writing. There's one of my friends. Okay, thanks, Aaron. Nice timing. I was just talking about the story. That's one of my best friends right there, Aaron in chat. We wanted to hang out in preparation for my birthday, so I asked if they wanted to hang out, and then we did on Thursday. The thing is, though, we had no plan before we hung out. We literally just, like, we discussed, like, what do we want to do? I don't know. So what do you think we're gonna do? I don't know. You want to watch a movie? I don't know. You want to go see Deadpool and Wolverine? I can't. Going with my, I'm gonna see with my parents. Okay, great. So we had no plan for what to do, basically. So when we actually got to hanging out, we just went to a couple parks. They were full of people, so we didn't actually do anything at the parks. And then we just hopped back in the car and then drove to Walmart that was nearby. It was a different Walmart. We were a little farther away from where we live, where there is a Walmart, so we went to a different Walmart that was nearby where we were at the time. And we just walked around. And we had no plan. And the funny thing is, Aaron was trying to navigate, and he was doing really, really bad at it. So, our other best friend who was driving was just being led in circles. And it was, I was laughing too hard to be able to actually help him, to actually tell him where to go. I knew where we were supposed to go, but I couldn't say it because I was dying. And it's just like, it's weird that I used to think that it was weird that guys a lot of the time don't have a plan before we hang out, before they hang out. We usually have like a basic rundown of what we're going to do, but we kind of wing it at the time. But we still do what we plan to do. But this time we just had zero idea what to do. And we winged it completely. And it ended up being like one of the more fun hangouts like we've ever had. Which is weird to think about. Like we had no plan and it ended up being really fun. So I guess now I see why guys hang out without a plan. It just makes it more fun that way.